Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet's spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BeFurAndAfterGrooming.com. Be Fur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at J.
This is WJFN Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFB Portsmouth, part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. From packing the Supreme Court to statehood for D.C. and Puerto Rico to grab more political power, President Trump predicts dire consequences for American democracy if the Democrat momentum seen in yesterday's midterm elections continues. Republicans got shellacked in yesterday's voting in New York City, New Jersey, and Virginia. New York's next mayor will be socialist Zohran Mamdani.
Tonight, against all odds, we have grasped it. The future is in our hands.
In New Jersey, Democrat Mikey Sherrill is the governor-elect. In Virginia, Democrats have won the race for governor and for attorney general. President Trump is turning up the heat on Senate Democrat Republicans to do away with the filibuster.
With the government shutdown now the longest in U.S. history, the president told GOP senators it's time to change the rules and do away with the filibuster.
And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation.
Even though the filibuster's 60-vote threshold has prevented Republicans from reopening the government, GOP leaders have strongly opposed changing it. They argue it's allowed them to halt Democratic policies when Republicans were in the minority. Greg Clugston, Washington.
The National Transportation Safety Board will investigate the deadly crash of a UPS cargo plane in Kentucky. 9 people were killed when the aircraft crashed and burned upon takeoff at the Louisville airport. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear.
The main area hit consisted of 2 businesses, though we know there were more businesses impacted.
Of the 9 people who died, 6 were on the ground, the others crew members on board the plane. On Wall Street, the Dow is up 85 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Hospital officials in Gaza say they've received the bodies of 15 more Palestinians from Israel. The announcement made by officials at Nasser Hospital in Khan Yunis brings the number of Palestinian bodies returned to Gaza to 285. The latest return of the bodies, part of the Israel-Hamas ceasefire deal, came the day after Palestinian terrorists in Gaza handed over the body of an Israeli soldier who was taken hostage in the October 2023 attack that ignited the war. Typhoon Kimiji has left at least 66 people dead, 26 missing in the central Philippines. Many of them were trapped on roofs or swept away by floodwaters in the hardest hit areas of the central Philippines. Among the dead were 6 in an Air Force helicopter crash. The typhoon has now moved into the South China Sea. The central Philippines declared a state of calamity to speed up the emergency response. News and analysis, townhall.com. Uber delivers a less than stellar profits report and a downbeat earnings outlook.
It's for the key holiday quarter, overshadowing strong demand for its rides and food deliveries, driven by growing adoption of its membership program. The company blamed the weak profit on undisclosed legal and regulatory matters. Its shares fell about 8%, following a more than 60% rise in the stock so far this year. The company reports it was forced to set aside $479 million for potential legal and tax settlements.
Correspondent Bill Alexander. The president's ability to unilaterally impose tariffs is coming before the Supreme Court today, considered a pivotal test of executive power with trillion-dollar implications for the global economy. The Trump administration argues that an emergency law gives the president the power to regulate importation, and that includes tariffs. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We welcome to our newsmaker line right now our very good friend, State Representative Johnny Garrett, the Majority Whip in the Tennessee House of Representatives. Johnny is running for Congress for the Republican nomination in the 6th Congressional District. Welcome, Johnny. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be on.
So, Johnny, the primary election in this district will be held in August. It's a long time from now, but maybe not so long. And this is such a fascinating district. I'm looking at the list right now. This is basically a little bit of Davidson County, parts of a good chunk of Wilson County, a total of 19 counties, largely rural, to the east of Nashville, with a storied history. It's currently represented by John Rose, but I'm looking back at this district way back in the 1940s. Al Gore Sr. represented it. And then the uncle of the founder of Cracker Barrel, Joe Evans. And then Al Gore himself, followed by the last Democrat, Bart Gordon. And now, John Rose has been there. It's a plus 17 Republican district. So the big race is in the Republican primary. What is it that you're doing to campaign? What's it like going out there campaigning? What are you learning?
We're burning up the road, Michael, and having a great time meeting the folks of the 6th Congressional District. And it's funny that you give a little bit of a history of the seat back decades ago, because I feel like we're back in the Reagan era where he took on the communists in Russia to make sure we downfall the socialism that's been existed back in decades ago. And now we have a Democrat mayor of New York that was just elected last night that is a admitted communist socialist that now is the face of the Democratic Party. And to have someone like that elected to one of our largest cities in the country just puts this race and all races for conservative at the forefront to make sure they get out and vote next August in the primary.
Yeah.
We've got it right here. I mean, we've got a mayor of Nashville that is basically, a socialist. He's still raising defense funds for illegal aliens to make sure they can defend themselves to stay here illegally. I mean, it's absolutely nuts. If this hasn't woken up our conservatives and Republicans across Tennessee to make sure they get out and vote next August, to make sure we keep Tennessee conservative, and we've got that barrier between the leftist lunatic folks that want to turn this great state, this great country, into a socialist state. We've got a lot of work to do, and I'm looking forward to meeting all those folks in the 6th District to make sure they know they have a candidate right here that's going to stand for their conservative values and take a little bit of Tennessee to D.C.
Johnny, to your point, this morning, the Beacon Center of Tennessee released the Beacon poll. And what they discovered is this. They asked Democrats across the state, do you have a favorable or unfavorable view of socialism? The results, among Democrats, 54% of Democrats in Tennessee have a favorable view of socialism. Only 31% have an unfavorable view of socialism. Your thoughts on that?
The thoughts is the face of the Democratic Party is AOC and Mandami, the new mayor-elect of New York City. They're bringing more and more people to their party. So whether or not this poll is a true accurate reflection of what has happened recently, right? For what is happening. So the Democrats right now, I think, are a little bit motivated because they want our people to be controlled by the government. They want more of your money. I mean, that's what the Democratic Party is all about. They don't want parents to be in control of their children's education. They don't want businesses to be in control of their own money, to keep money in their pockets. Therefore, they can pay their employees better, have rising wages. They don't want any of that. That's what we're facing. That's what the Democratic Party wants. And even though Tennessee is more red than most states, thank goodness, but they're trickling in. And what's going to happen over the next few years if this wave that the Socialist Democratic Party had last night takes a hold right here in Tennessee? We've got to stand firm, obviously, with President Trump and what he's been doing. He needs us now more than ever to make sure we stand for our conservative values, not only in the 6th District, but across Tennessee and across this country.
Johnny, it's quite an undertaking to go across 19 counties, very large geographic area. And you've got urban Nashville, you've got suburban Wilson County, and you've got, rural areas like Clay County and Cannon County and DeKalb County and Fentress County and Jackson County, Macon County, lots of rural areas. Tell us a little bit about kind of the most recent communities you've visited, what people have on their mind, and what they want to tell you.
I'll tell you what, we were in Putnam County last night. We've been in Jackson County, Overton County. We were in Clay County over the weekend. I am enjoying every minute of meeting new folks, new people, Tennesseans, of course, but new to me, right? And understanding what's important to them, understanding what's important for their lives, and knowing that they want to worship their God, raise their family, and enjoy Tennessee with as least government interference as possible. That's what our conservative values are all about, and that's what they expect out of their congressmen. That's what they expect out of their legislature, is to make sure they have the most freedoms that they possibly can. And I'm enjoying every minute and learning more and more about all the counties and more that you just named, because it's an honor of a lifetime to serve in the General Assembly as I serve right now as the Republican with the 45th District here in the state, and it's going to be an honor of a lifetime to serve the good folks of the 6th District.
So Putnam County, as an example, let's just describe some of these events that you. So what did you do last night in Putnam County? How many people were there? What did you talk about? Was it like a barbecue event?
It was the Republican Party of Putnam County's monthly meeting, and they invited several folks to speak, and I got to speak there. They probably had, I bet they had 150 people there. And what I've noticed, which is, I think, fantastic, is this, of course, is a non-election year. We're going to be in the election year next year. Mm-hmm. The Reagan Day dinners we've been going to, which is typically the local parties' annual dinner to get together to celebrate the conservative values that we all hold dear, and then they have monthly meetings. They've all had record attendance. And this is, like I said, this is a non-election year. So people are fired up. People are excited about what President Trump has been doing since he's been in office the last 10, 11 months. They're excited about the big, beautiful bill that he has passed, because they know that President Trump is just getting started. And I think what they expect are strong, conservative folks, conservative-minded legislators, conservative-minded congressmen, and I'm going to be the only one in this race that's going to stand with President Trump on our conservative values. They are excited about what he's going to be able to accomplish and what the Congress will be able to accomplish for the folks of the 6th District. That's what I'm hearing at these particular meetings across the district. They are fired up. They're ready to support President Trump, and they're ready to support conservative candidates to make Tennessee better. I wear a hat that's sort of a UT-themed hat that says "Make America Tennessee." And I can't think of a better phrase of what we've been able to build the past 7 years that I've been in the State House. And for folks that were there before me, that we need America to be more like Tennessee.
Okay, so now I love that. Is that unique to you, the phrasing in the hat? Make America Tennessee?
No, I cannot. Thank you. I cannot. I've got to give credit where credit is due. That's a hat that the Daily Wire has put together. I think you can even get that from their website.
When did they do that? We're going to have to get those hats. Make America Tennessee.
Go to the Daily Wire website, and I hope they still have them. But it's a white hat with UT orange letters, and it says "Make America Tennessee, and that's been a favorite of mine over the campaign trail. I've also got a hat that I can't get anymore. It's a white hat or a black hat, and it has Trump on it in orange letters like UT, and the T is a power T. That has been a popular hat as well, at least for UT fans, right?
I love it.
It's great.
Except for when they play Vandy, everybody's a Tennessee fan.
Oh, that's going to be. Hey, I'm telling you, the Vanderbilt. You know, you're for Vanderbilt, except when they play UT, the last game of the season.
There you go. All right, Johnny Garrett. Hey, thanks so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Mike, appreciate the time. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
All right, thanks, Johnny. When we come back, my analysis of what the election results last night mean for the country. Buckle up. Get ready. Here we go.
Ponder this. Do you think the world is heading off the rails and that many people have become unhinged? In America, we see people rioting, looting, and even killing to express dissatisfaction and disagreements with contrary lifestyles and points of view. Take heart. God knew from the beginning of time that these conditions would come about, and He chose each one of us to carry out His mission of love and justice at this time in history. We each have a role to play. Some of us will have a very public role, while others are called to keep peace and calm where they are planted. Many are called to raise God-fearing children in healthy Christian families. Wherever God has placed you, pray to know His will for you. Pray hard. Sometimes persistence and perseverance in prayer brings amazing results. God is listening and often wants to hear from you over and over again. Your job is to know God's will for you and just do it. And pray, trust, and persevere. I'm Susie Kelly at ponderfulmoments.org.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Mandami visited a very controversial Brooklyn mosque just months after the imam there called for the annihilation of Israel. Your thoughts?
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party to confront this kid with his own background. He's a rabid socialist.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Fredericks Media Network.
He gave the finger to the Columbus statue.
Right. I can't almost think of any group he hasn't offended.
The all-new Godzilla Wins with Chris Saxman. Dude might say anything.
This week's monologue is brought to you by the rantings and ravings that go on in my mind.
It's sports talk with a brain.
It's really important for America, sports, and the athletes that we have a fundamental change in collegiate sports.
Godzilla Wins, Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern.
Godzilla Wins is available on X, Rumble, Getter, Apple TV, Fire TV, Roku, and online at jfmn.tv.
And all across J-Fred's Media Network.
Why is Purple Wave Auction the fastest growing heavy equipment marketplace? Our full service online auctions take the hassle out of buying and selling farm, construction, and fleet equipment. Thousands of business owners partner with Purple Wave each month to manage their equipment. Sellers count on our experienced professionals to handle the marketing, paperwork, and payments. And bidders trust in a marketplace free of reserves and hidden fees. Purple Wave is the turnkey online auction service you've been looking for. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Now more than ever, President Trump needs battle-tested conservatives fighting alongside him to save our country. That's why Trump endorsed Matt Van Epps for Congress. West Point grad, 9 combat tours, decorated Army vet. Matt Van Epps has devoted his life to defending America and the conservative values we cherish. Endorsed by Trump, fearless conservative, Tennessee's Matt Van Epps for Congress. School Freedom Fund is responsible for the content of this ad.
This is Michael Patrick Leahy. Join Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, and Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs, and me at T-Bones and Politics 2025 on the evening of November 10th in Murfreesboro for a night of great food, good fellowship, and inspiring political speeches. Get your tickets now. They're going fast at tbonesandpolitics2025.com. This is a great annual event. This year, musical entertainment will be provided by the Tremolo Honey Band. If you haven't heard them before, they are absolutely fantastic. This special event is sponsored by Barrett Firearms, Old South SRM, Moody Excavating, Azure Flight Management, and SEC Engineers. So go right now to tbonesandpolitics2025.com and get your tickets for T-Bones and Politics. It's an evening of great food and fun on November 10th. I'll see you there. Paid for by Joe Pack, William Ronsley, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Well, I promised my analysis of what the blue state, blue city victory by the Communist Party of America, used to be the Democrat Party, last night. What does that mean for America? I think my analysis is the following. We had better recognize the challenge here coming from the far left. Because if we don't, and if we don't turn the ship around and pay attention right now, there is a possibility that in 2026, the Communist Party will get a majority in the U.S. House of Representatives. And if that happens, I can tell you exactly what they will do. They will begin impeachment proceedings of Donald Trump on day one. Nothing will happen legislatively. And I think there is a huge concern on our side that we're not paying enough attention to this right now. Now, this is a long-term issue, and let me point this out. If you look at the vote in New York City for mayor, the mad Marxist Muslim from Manhattan, the mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani, that guy was unapologetic about being a Muslim and being, quote, a socialist, being a communist, basically. And he said, try and stop me. It was a very angry speech last night. Now, we did some research on the polling there. About 36% of the voters were foreign-born in New York City. And of those, Mamdani easily won. Some of the polling had like 62-25 beating Cuomo. What's the problem with that? Well, first, of the foreign-born residents of New York City who voted, there is some number of illegal aliens. That's clearly what the problem is, right? We don't know how much it is because you'll never figure that out. But these are people who, for the most part, reject the traditional American view of our constitutional republic. In fact, they hate America. They have come into the United States. They're not assimilated. Zoran Mamdani is not assimilated, and he hates the United States. How do we know that? Well, where was he born? He was born in Uganda. What's the background of his parents? His parents are far leftists. He came into the United States when he was 7 years old. He purportedly became a citizen only about, 5 or 6 years ago, maybe a little bit earlier than that. Never had a job in his life, but he is a hardcore leftist ideologue who hates everything about America. Now he packages it in a very slick way. But when you look at the underlying elements of the population, when you have so many illegal aliens and so many foreign-born residents who vote, who are not assimilated and reject the fundamental concepts of America, this is where you have a huge problem. Steve Bannon yesterday evening talked about that on his program. Let's play this clip right now. Clip 8, Steve Bannon.
A star is born in New York City. The progressive left got tonight delivered what they've been working on for decades and decades and decades. And folks, you better understand right there. Did he mention in all those, is Dave Bratt there? Let's get Dave Bratt. Did he mention in all those call-outs he did one white name? I must have missed that. In all the people he called, I don't remember, he didn't call for Jefferson or Washington or anything from American history. You have 40 or 50 years of visa scams. You have illegal immigrants coming in, illegal alien invaders coming in 10 or 15 million. This is what you're going to end up with. So,
yeah, and Steve Bannon is exactly right. This is a consequence of 40 years of bad immigration policy where they've allowed people to come in legally and illegally who hate America. Look back at the history of immigration in the United States. Why, in 1920, did the Congress of the United States and the president determine, we've got to stop this immigration? Because at that time, about 14% of America's population, 15%, was foreign-born. And they were having problems assimilating. So in essence, immigration was cut off from 1920 until 1965. It was very hard to come into the United States then. But in 1965, thanks to, wait for it, Senator Edward Kennedy, the floodgates open up again. Now, today, if you look at the results, maybe 17% of American population is foreign-born. It's really higher than that because they haven't fully accounted for the 20 million illegal aliens. And, of course, some of those vote. Now, back to Stephen K. Bannon's point on this. And I've made this point many times today. The Democrat Party of Thomas Jefferson and James Madison and Franklin Roosevelt and John F. Kennedy no longer exists. The shell, the legal entity of the Democratic Party exists, but it is now the Communist Party of America. And the leader is the foreign-born Muslim Marxist from Manhattan who's mad, Zoran Mamdani. We just have to look at this. Take a look at who he mentioned and who he credited for his victory last night. Let's go with clip number 1.
Thank you to those so often forgotten by the politics of our city who made this movement their own. I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, aunties.
Okay, there you go. He's just brazenly pushing that out. The aunties thing is because he said his aunt had been because she was wearing a hijab had been subjected to persecution after 9/11. Well, he doesn't have an aunt who does that. It was some distant person he called an auntie, right? This guy he's full of himself, and he is also convinced that his Muslim Marxist approach to the world is going to be a political winner. He cited not Thomas Jefferson, not any of the pantheons of the Democrat Party. Who did he cite? Clip 4, Eugene Debs.
The sun may have set over our city this evening, But as Eugene Debs once said, I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity.
Yeah, what is that better day? I'll tell you what that better day, in his view, is. It's communist control of the means of production, and he's just beginning on it. Right? This is something we have to pay attention to very seriously. And if the billionaires go to his side, they already have. But some who you think shouldn't be doing it have. We'll talk about that in just a minute.
Attorney General Miyares and John Fredericks talk about skill games.
They're unregulated slot machines.
They pop up in 7-Elevens in every corner of Virginia.
The General Assembly has spoken on this.
Skill games.
These things are illegal.
It's the Wild Wild West. Fights break out. Robberies increase.
Skill games.
They prey on the less fortunate.
I say it's a tax on the poor.
They're breaking the law.
My job is to enforce the law. These machines are not allowed.
Enforce the law and get them out of there.
When you see skill games, call the local sheriff.
These things are illegal.
Paid for by Churchill Downs.
This is Crom Carmichael, CEO of Solti. We got a wonderful email from one of our customers up east named Joe, and here's what he had to say. I started taking Solti almost out of desperation with little hope because I was resigned to the futility that although I was up to taking 2 statins a day, high cholesterol was something I just had to learn to live with. In fact, when I turned 60, after taking a stress cardio test, my doctor called me on a Saturday, which of course is never a good sign, and told me that I was clogged more than 95% of the people my age. I had an angioplasty and a stent procedure done at that time. Today, my stubborn triglycerides are only 1/3 of what they had been before starting taking Solti. My prescription statin dosage has shrunk from 60 milligrams to only 10 milligrams a day. My primary care doctor that I have had for many years still can't believe the results, and neither can I. Thank you, Solti, for providing such a wonderful product. And folks, I want to invite you to take care of your heart also by going to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. Use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% discount on your initial shipment. Thanks so much.
Trump 2.0 is in full effect. How do you keep up with all the action? I'll tell you. TrumpNationNews.com is your inside source for the inside scoop. Manufacturing, jobs, deportations, and the nation's rejuvenation. The first 100 days and beyond. All the news you need and no liberal gibberish. It's the perfect way to start your day. Sign up for the TNN newsletter. Do it today. TrumpNationNews.com. TrumpNationNews.com. Part of the John Fredericks Media Network.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I flew 9 combat tours taking out terrorists.
Matt Van Epps, America First warrior.
When my Chinook took enemy fire, I kept her in the air, got our guys, and completed the mission.
Matt Van Epps, American hero.
Now I'm on a new mission to help Trump save America. I'm Matt Van Epps. I approve this message because I know what to do with terrorists. So these woke wannabes in Washington better take cover.
Matt Van Epps, the conservative warrior Trump needs.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are indeed broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. Okay. What do the election results last night in the blue states of Virginia and New Jersey and the blue city of New York City, what does that mean for the United States of America? I'll tell you exactly what it means. We are in the midst of an existential fight for the survival of our constitutional republic. It is time for conservatives to wake up. Now, look, it was terrific, beyond terrific, that Donald Trump won the presidency. It would be, I think, just a year ago today, I think, is when he won. He's been in office now for less than a year, and he's done great things. But we have a fundamental problem in the country, and that is, what is the number? Is it 20%? Is it 25% of the population outright rejects American history and the foundational concepts of our constitutional republic? And it's very simple. They, as embodied by the new leader of what used to be known as the Democratic Party, now is the Communist Islamist Party of America, headed up by Zohran Mamdani, there is really only one consequence here. We win or they win. And we must win. We must crush them politically. And that is the only option that we have. Because if we don't crush them, I can promise you this, they will crush us. Now, let me tell you what ought not to be happening. Wealthy individuals in America, like Bill Ackman, big hedge fund guy out of New York City, who actually supported Trump, they need to recognize that we are in an existential fight for survival, and it would be a very bad idea to bend the knee to the mad Muslim Marxist from Manhattan, Mamdani, the mayor-elect of New York City. And yet, what is Bill Ackman doing? This last night, he had a tweet out, and a pollster was talking with Stephen K. Bannon about that. We're going to play that clip right now. Clip 3.
Can you read what Bill Ackman, the big hedge fund guy, just tweeted out to Mamdani?
Publicly, again, folks, see at Zohran K. Mamdani. Congrats on the win. Now you have a big responsibility. If I can help NYC, just let me know what I can do. You believe this?
Okay, now this is absolutely the wrong thing. Bill, why are you bending the knee here? This is a very, very bad thing to do. You know what the far left, the Islamo-Marxists are going to do. They're not going to compromise. They want to defeat and destroy our constitutional republic. You kid me? You doubt me on that? Let's hear from Mamdani himself. Clip 6, he basically is confronting Donald Trump.
So, Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up. Of our city have grown far too comfortable taking advantage of their tenants. We will put an end to the culture of corruption that has allowed billionaires like Trump to evade taxation and exploit tax breaks. We will stand alongside unions and expand labor protections because we know, just as Donald Trump does, that when working people have ironclad rights, the bosses who seek to extort them become very small indeed. New York will remain a city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants, and as of tonight, led by an immigrant.
Okay, so that is in your face, right? So basically what he's saying is you can take your constitutional republic and put it where the sun don't shine. That's what he's saying. Okay, it was a very angry anti-American speech. Let's go to clip 2 here now. On CNN, Scott Jennings had his analysis of this. Clip 2.
Scott? Oh. Are you saying he wasn't the unifying voice of a generation that you predicted mere moments ago? Axe, where was the man that you predicted would not slice and dice the? Look, guys, he started his speech by quoting Eugene Debs, who ran for president of the United States 5 times as the Socialist Party of America candidate. He repeatedly attacked people in this. No, I know my socialists. I keep a close eye on them.
Yeah,
I work here. So here's the thing. He went after everybody that he thinks is a problem. People who own things, people who have businesses. He said an interesting quote. No problem too large for government to solve.
Or too small, important.
And so when you think of the world that way, that every problem, no matter how small or how large, is something for government to do, let me just decipher this for you. Tax increases as far as the eye can see, which means the people who need to provide jobs to the young people that you say need jobs are going to flee as quickly as they possibly can. I think this was a divisive speech, and he clearly sees the world in terms of the people who are oppressing you and the oppressed. And he said the oppressed are now in City Hall.
Yeah. Okay. So now a couple other things about demographics here. We won't play this clip, but I will tell you that Fox News did some voter analysis and from exit polls. And what they found is that among those under the age of 30, 75% supported Zoran Mamdani. And the gender breakdown is even worse. 80% of young women living in New York City voted for Mamdani, and I think that would have, put a little under 70% were men. So their level of support for Mamdani. What does this tell you? It tells you that those under 30 who live in blue cities and blue states have absolutely no basis of understanding of our constitutional republic. None. Zero, zip, nada. It's not a surprise if you look at the level of coddling young people have received from their erstwhile liberal parents and by the huge propagandizing that's going on in public schools. Now, I want to play, this is a quote, a liberal woman who was talking about how much she really likes the attitude and ideas of Zoran Mandami. We'll play that clip 10.
I think what's really important and standing out for me right now is if we can take ourselves like a high level, like not say immigration, not say economy, not say all the hot talking points, and just ask ourselves, how are we treating our neighbors? Like, how are we treating one another? And is it okay that yesterday, on Saturday, 42 million of our neighbors no longer can feed themselves? Is it okay that our neighbors are getting taken off the streets by ICE? Is it okay that gender-affirming care is being taken from young people who really need it to survive? Is it okay that the Supreme Court has now justified racial profiling? That's not how I want to treat my neighbor.
Okay, so that's how, liberal women think right now. And apparently, that is the attitude of young women who reside in New York City. The problem right now that we have is about 25% of our countrymen and countrywomen are insane, and they support the Communist Party, and they live largely in blue cities, blue states. What does that mean? It means those of us who live in red states must be strong and firm and must promote the consistent use of our constitutional republic and the survival of our constitutional republic. So don't back down, don't bend the knee, as Bill Ackman in New York City's doing. We were talking with State Representative Johnny Garrett and about this. I think he's right. What do we need to do? We need to keep Tennessee strong and make America Tennessee. Not make America Uganda, or not make America, like some third world, you know what. you know what that word is. No. We need to be strong. We need not to follow the example of the crazy, weak leftists in the United Kingdom. That is not a good move at all. We'll be back with more after this. We'll hear from Marsha Blackburn. Back after this.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Is your pet ready for some pawsome fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at CreeksidePetHotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
TheVirginiaStar.com. The countdown to November is moving fast, and TheVirginiaStar.com is on the campaign trail, keeping you informed as the candidates crisscross the Commonwealth. Get daily updates on the statewide and hometown races. Learn how they'll affect your day-to-day and have coast-to-coast impact. All that and more just a click away at TheVirginiaStar.com. Still the smartest way to start your day. TheVirginiaStar.com. TheVirginiaStar.com.
Let's be real. Losing weight isn't just about looking good. It's about taking back control of your overall health. 42% of adults in America are classified as obese, and obesity is directly linked to severe health issues. If you've tried diets and different workouts with no success, it's not your fault. Big Food and Big Pharma have rigged the system against you with contradicting information, leaving you confused. But there's good news. The Wellness Company just launched Drop, a GLP-1 peptide oral drop formula developed by their chief medical board, specifically designed to support your metabolism, curb cravings, and help you shed weight. That's right. No injections, no risk of the severe side effects we're seeing with the Ozempic. Start your weight loss journey today and get $100 off, plus free shipping. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla100. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla100. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We're going to shift gears a little bit here. We're going to talk about what's next. And what's next, a couple things are next. Number one, the impeachment of Federal District Court Judge James Boasberg. Boasberg is the Yale undergrad, Yale Law School, former FISA judge who it really signed an illegal gag order that deprived 9 U.S. senators of their due process rights, violated the Stored Communication Act, and in addition to that, violated the speech or debate clause of the Constitution, separation of powers doctrine of the Constitution, and the First and Fourth and Fifth Amendment rights of these U.S. senators. Now, our own Senator Marsha Blackburn was the victim of this violation of due process rights. She was on Lawrence Kudlow yesterday evening with on Fox Business News, along with the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Jim Jordan. Why is it important to have the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee on? Because it is with the House Judiciary Committee that impeachment proceedings can begin. And I've talked a little bit about why he should be impeached in great detail in other venues, but I want to talk right now. I want to play this clip of Marsha Blackburn, Larry Kudlow, and Jim Jordan.
Yes, the subpoena that Judge Boasberg issued was on the Verizon records, and the same subpoena went to AT&T for their records. Each subpoena on all 9 of us had a non-disclosure order on top of the subpoena, which the order was, you can't tell us about this. And they were afraid we would be a flight risk or destroy evidence or tamper with evidence or intimidate witnesses. Wow. And of course, as we have learned, all of this, everything they've done is a violation of our First and Fourth Amendment rights. It's a violation of the speech and debate clause and of the Stored Communications Act and the separation of powers. So we are pushing Chairman Grassley to call in Judge Boasberg and have a hearing with him. I think it's appropriate for the House and Chairman Jordan to begin impeachment proceedings on Judge Boasberg. There are 197 separate subpoenas affecting 430 organizations and individuals, all conservative.
Yeah, Judge Boasberg's probably a flight risk, if you ask me.
That's kind of funny. He's not. He's going to double down, triple down. He'll come in all puffed up and say, they'll ask him this question. You said in your illegal court order that you said there were reasonable grounds to believe that that these senators would destroy evidence or intimidate witnesses. The standard for reasonable grounds, as you know, for 50 years or 40 years of practicing law, is you must have specific articulable facts that support that. What, sir, were your specific articulable facts on this? To which I want to hear the answer from Judge Boasberg on that, because he doesn't have an answer. What would it be? They signed a letter saying they want these electoral results sent back to the state legislatures. That is entirely within the purview of a member of Congress engaged in the conduct of their office and protected by Article the Article 6, Section 1, I think it is, of the Constitution, the speech the speech or debate clause of the Constitution. That is what that's about. So, now I noticed with great interest, Jim Jordan was there. I haven't heard from him saying yet he'll begin impeachment proceedings, but the drumbeat is there. Let's now turn to the issue of the shutdown. Markwayne Mullin, the senator from Oklahoma, had this to say. Clip 7.
Break with the Democrats and reopen the government. Chuck Schumer, in a private meeting with other Democrat senators, said that if you'll just wait till after the election, I'll release the handcuffs. I added the handcuff part, but basically I'm paraphrasing what he said. The reason why is because they're afraid their base wouldn't show up today in Virginia, New Jersey, and in New York. So it's been about politics. It's never been about policy. It's been about holding the American people as leverage points, regardless of the damage they cause to the livelihood of these individuals. But elections are more important than the Dems because why? They know their polls is at the very bottom than it's ever been for the Democrat Party, and it's shameful what they're doing here.
Well, yes and no. I mean, the overall Democrat Party leadership in Congress approval is low, but apparently in New York City and New Jersey and Virginia, boy, well, particularly in New York City, you've got a communist Muslim Islamist, and apparently the voters in New York City, many of whom are foreign-born, many of whom are legal aliens, support that. So, but the bottom line is, I do think we're going to see this shutdown end in the next couple days. Because the Democrats wanted to win that governor's race in Virginia, and they wanted all the Northern Virginia federal workers angry. It worked in that regard because like 80% of Arlington County voted for the Democrat Spanberger. Where is that? Is it? Well, I'm listening. I'm hearing something in the background. Can you hear it? There it is. Yes, I can see the helicopter. It's President Donald Trump and the very best Trump impersonator in the world, Sean Farash, landing right outside our studios. They'll be with us when we get back.
Let's face it, losing weight isn't just about looks. It's about taking back control of your health. Tired of confusing diets and injections with harsh side effects? Meet Drop, an oral GLP-1 peptide from the Wellness Company that boosts metabolism, curbs cravings, and helps you burn fat. No needles needed. Just mix it with water and let your body do the rest. Right now, get $100 off and free shipping at twc.health/Godzilla and use the promo code Godzilla100 to save $100. Take back your life.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter.
WENO Nashville, KQPN West Memphis. News Talk, AM 760, AM 730, The Flame.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. It's the morning after the Democrat sweep of yesterday's closely watched midterm elections, and President Trump is predicting dire consequences for the country if the Democrat momentum continues.
They're going to pack the court. They're going to make D.C. a state, and they're going to make Puerto Rico a state. So now they pick up 2 states. They pick up 4 senators. Okay? You think you have problems? They're going to do all of the things. They're going to pick up electoral votes. It's going to be a very, very bad situation. And it's done. It's done. As soon as they attain power.
New York City voters have spoken, and socialist Zoran Mamdani will be the city's next mayor.
New York, tonight you have delivered a mandate for change.
In deep blue New Jersey, Democrat Mikey Sherrill is the governor-elect, and to the south in the Old Dominion.
A blue wave hit Virginia. Democrat Abigail Spanberger has become Virginia's first woman governor with 57% of the vote. Democrat Ghazala Hashmi was elected lieutenant governor, while Democrat Jay Jones won the attorney general's race. In the House of Delegates, Democrats picked up 13 seats. Democrats won women, the wealthy, non-military voters, federal workers, and those who voted to oppose President Trump. Anne Marie Morgan reporting.
In California, the Democrats' congressional redistricting scheme won approval, and the Democrats will retain 3 seats on the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. The death toll has risen to at least 9 in the fiery crash of a UPS cargo plane in Kentucky. The aircraft went down just moments after takeoff from the Louisville airport. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is up 96 points, NASDAQ ahead 122. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free, no-risk consultation. 800-292-7875. 800-292-7875. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-292-7875.
China's government staging a major trade exhibition to sell the communist country as an investment partner. The BBC's Stephen McDonnell in Beijing.
Notable amongst exhibitors is the U.S. soybean industry, which now hopes to ramp up exports to China
following commitments made when Xi Jinping met Donald Trump last week. Major American corporations are also here, attempting to increase sales into China during this period of trade war détente. Car brands Ford and General Motors, tech companies like Boston Scientific, as well as semiconductor producer Qualcomm, all have a presence at the expo. When Premier Li Qiang launched the event today, he spoke of the severe impact which protectionist measures have had on the global economy recently, but said Beijing would work to make trade rules fairer, more reasonable and transparent.
The Grand Egyptian Museum, a billion-dollar project, has opened its doors to the public following an extravagant inaugural ceremony. Townhall.com. Australia is adding Reddit and Kik to its list of social media platforms that must ban kids under 16 from having accounts.
Communications Minister Annika Wells said Wednesday the platforms will join others like Facebook and TikTok in enforcing this rule starting December 10th. Platforms failing to comply could face fines up to $33 million. Australia's e-safety commissioner Julie Inman-Grant will enforce the ban, which aims to protect children online. The move's being closely watched by other countries concerned about social media's impact on young users. Keith Peters, Washington.
President Trump will be heading to Miami to speak on the anniversary of his election to a second term. Mr. Trump will address a forum of business leaders and global athletes. He plans to discuss his economic agenda and recent trade and investment deals made on his trip to Asia. More on these stories.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Well, I think they're still landing. President Donald Trump, who's had a very, there they are. They have landed. Now, President Trump is walking out. His hair's blowing. Sean's wearing a cap, baseball cap here, I think. And so they're walking in. And now, Mr. President, thank you for coming here on Trump Day. Hump Day, some call it, but we call it Trump Day here, Wednesday, at 11 Central, noon Eastern. Boy, it's been a busy period of time. How much sleep do you get when you're flying over to Japan and South Korea and meeting with all these international leaders?
Well, we don't do a lot of sleep. You know, we went to South Korea, went to Japan. I get along very well with South Korea and North Korea, believe it or not. They're doing missile testing. We're going to do some missile testing, too, I think. We've dropped some 30,000-pounders on a few people. Katie Porter on the drug boats. We've done that. Stacey Abrams on Iran. We've done that. And now we're thinking of dropping Jiggly Belly on Venezuela. If they keep doing that, we're going to knock Maduro's mustache right off his face. But now we're looking at doing a lot of beautiful testing, and we get along well with South Korea, North Korea. We get along well with Japan. We almost had to deport Shohei Ohtani because they almost let Canada win the World Series, but we didn't let it happen.
Did you watch that game,
very nice.
Mr. President? Did you watch that whole series?
Well, if I played in this series, it would have been believe it or not, I would have won all 4 games in 3 games, right? Just like I've shot a 16 on an 18-hole course. But I watched it. Game 7 was crazy.
It was crazy.
But the U.S. won. That's the most important thing. 51st state. The 51s didn't win in hockey, in the Stanley Cup, and the 51s didn't win in baseball, which was great.
It was a great game. But the MVP was Yoshi Yamamoto, who won 3 of the 4 games, a terrific pitcher, and he pitched 6 innings, started and pitched 6 innings of Game 6. The next day, he pitches 3 relief innings.
I taught him everything he knows.
I
taught him everything he knows.
That was
I taught
good.
Mariano his cutter, and I taught Yamamoto a lot. They call him Yoshinobu Magamoto.
Magamoto.
I taught him everything he knows. He's a great pitcher, and you're welcome. I taught him everything.
Now, Mr. President, last night, the Communist Party of America, they used to be called the Democrat Party, but that party exists in name only right now. The leader is the mad Muslim Marxist from Manhattan, the mayor-elect of New York City, Zohran Mamdani. His speech was angry, aggressive, anti-American. And the people that he thanked were, the Ethiopians and the Senegalese and the Mexicans. He didn't thank any Americans. Your thoughts on this, Mr. President?
Well, he's a nasty guy, a very nasty guy, and he's going to do a horrible job in New York City. You have millions of people who are going to leave because they don't want to be around him. He eats with his hands, too, by the way, which you're not supposed to do.
He's actually done that to highlight the fact that he's not American.
Which is a very stupid. I eat with my hands, too, when it comes to Big Macs.
Of course.
When it comes to pizza. If you eat with a fork when you're eating pizza, you ought to be, believe it or not, executed. I think it's a great idea. No, we're not going to do that. Deported. We'll just do deported. But he eats rice with his hands, which is ridiculous. And I look at some of the other people, like people from China with the chopstick. And I use chopsticks very well, but it's better than eating with your hands. These people eat with their hands. Mamdani eats with his hands. Very stupid. He's going to get hand, foot, and mouth disease, which you don't want to do. That's very nasty. But he's a mean person, very mean person, very nasty person.
Yeah, very nasty.
Nasty guy.
Very angry last night. Now, we did some analysis. Fox News did some analysis of the voters here. Now, and you grew up in Queens, right? That's where you grew up. But you made your reputation as a builder in Manhattan. Well, it was 51-41, and Curtis Sliwa only got like 7%. You endorsed the bad Democrat over the communist, and you said Curtis didn't have a chance. We turned out you were right. Also, you had some very good fashion advice for Curtis.
Well, he should take off the red beret and put on a red MAGA hat. It looks a lot better, but he does a good job. He did a great job for New York City as the guardian angels. He did a
That was like 40 years ago. He's still wearing the same red beret.
But he's still wearing the same beret. So
he looks, honestly, Mr. President, I was so happy to see you say that because he looks silly.
He looks like a cartoon character.
He does.
And
he does.
Nice guy, tough guy, but
There has to
be somebody better. We have to say that. There has to be somebody
Well, in New York City,
better.
maybe not. Look, here's the problem. We talk about young people in America being propagandized by the left. So Fox News did a poll and looked at the demographics, and they looked at people under the age of 30 who live in New York City. Now, we don't know how many of them really are foreign-born or illegal aliens. It's at least a third. But here's the bottom line on it. Of those who voted in New York City under the age of 30, Mr. President, 75% of them voted for the mad Muslim Marxist from Manhattan, Mamdani. But among women under the age of 30 living in New York City, 80% voted for Mamdani. How do you make any sense of that?
Well, it doesn't make any sense, but these are people from New York. This is why I left, because nothing makes sense. Nothing makes sense. The whole city is broken. The state, quite frankly, is broken. You look at Kathy Hochul, who's the bucktooth Botox bandit from Buffalo, and a nasty person, too. I call her the Wicked Witch of the Northeast. You look at her, and she's a very nasty person. But you look at New York. I got out of New York because it's broken. It's a terrible place now. It used to be a beautiful place. It's a terrible place now. We got out, and you have women voting for a Muslim guy, and the Muslims don't like women. They put them in the Statue of Liberty. They're going to fit it for a burqa.
Yeah, really.
They call it a hijab. It's terrible, right?
It is terrible.
It's
Mr.
terrible.
President,
Not compatible with our culture.
I think it was a year ago today when you won the election to be president for a second term. And I know that Marine Force One now is revving up because you're going to give a speech in Miami later today, basically commemorating that victory. Oh, there you go. What are you going to say in that speech this afternoon, celebrating the 1 year anniversary of your second election? Well, actually your third. This is one where they weren't able to cheat enough. But what are you going to say about that election and your first 10 months in office?
Well, we're going to celebrate in the new financial capital of the world, Miami. You look at Miami. But we're also going to say thank you and God bless you to the people who came out and voted. And we have a new idea because apparently people don't like to vote if I'm not on the ballot. So the new requirement is going to be any Republican candidate has to change their name to Donald J. Trump, and we'll get people out. I think that's the only way to do it because everybody doesn't want to vote, which is a shame. Everybody needs to get out and vote like you've never voted before. Too big to rig every time, not just when I'm on the ballot. So everybody's changing their name. We're going to change everybody's name to Donald J. Trump. It's a beautiful idea.
Well, Mr. President, that does make a good point, which is the following. Our buddy Stephen K. Bannon has kept saying you need to be on the ballot in 2028. Huh?
We're thinking about it.
You're
We're
thinking about it.
We're looking at it because we want the crown. We have a crown. They call me king. I went from fry cook to garbage man to king of the world.
Boom.
And we're going to be king again.
Well, Mr. President, I know you're very busy. We always appreciate it when you come in here on Trump Day. And our very good friend Sean Farash is going to stick around as you depart from Miami. Safe travels, Mr. President.
Thank you, and thank you for your attention to this matter.
Well done. Back with Sean Farash after this.
Hi, folks. John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just one scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, TIREGET.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Now more than ever, President Trump needs battle-tested conservatives fighting alongside him to save our country. That's why Trump endorsed Matt Van Epps for Congress. West Point grad, 9 combat tours, decorated Army vet. Matt Van Epps has devoted his life to defending America and the conservative values we cherish. Endorsed by Trump, fearless conservative, Tennessee's Matt Van Epps for Congress. School Freedom Fund is responsible for the content of this ad.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
A bad night for basically our constitutional republic last night. In the blue states and blue cities, the governor's races were lost emphatically by Republican candidates in Virginia. Well, first, let us be honest about Winsome Earl Sears. She was a bad candidate. And she didn't get Trump's endorsement because, she had been an anti-Trumper, really. It wouldn't have mattered because she was a bad candidate. And in Virginia, I think Glenn Youngkin's election was a fluke because of a bad Terry McAuliffe candidacy and the temporary uprising of parents in Northern Virginia to all this trans stuff.
Definitely.
But, Spanberger was a very disciplined candidate. Now, she's as bad, ultimately, as Mamdani.
Yep.
But she's not as charismatic as he is, and not as directly confrontational as he is. She won by 15 points. It was a blowout. Now, what I'd like to get your reaction to is one thing that did surprise me. I wasn't surprised that Mikey Sherrill, again, another awful far-left liberal woman, Democrat, basically authoritarian. I wasn't surprised that she won. But I was quite surprised by the huge margin by which she defeated Jack Ciattarelli as the governor, the Republican candidate. Ciattarelli 4 years ago lost to Murphy by only 2%. But last night, Mikey Sherrill, not a really good candidate, in my view, just trounced him by 13 points. How did that happen, Sean?
Well, I think here's the problem. So there is an apathy problem with Republican voters. That's number one, right? Trump's not on the ballot. We made the joke. Everybody's got to change their name to Donald Trump in order to get voters out, right? That's the joke. But it's really an indictment on the way GOP voters think and behave. So number one, we have an apathy problem. But why do we have an apathy problem?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you look at a guy like Jack Ciattarelli in 2021, he lost by 3 points. In 2025, he lost by 13 points.
Yeah.
Why did that happen? Well, and I said this going into the primary in Jersey. If you elect him, you're electing a stale, nice guy. He's a nice guy, right? Which is great if it was 2002. It's not. You can't, in these races, look across at your opponent and play nice with them and be nice guy Jack. You can't. It's not. I know it's hard for a lot of people who want to be statesmanly, right, and classy. And I'm not saying to be reckless and go out there and be Nick Fuentes because, that's bad too, really bad, right?
Yeah, really bad.
And I'd rather you go out like Jack and maintain some integrity than be a lunatic, right? So, but you can't play nice with people who belong to the party who have no shame backing somebody who wants you dead, like Jay Jones.
Which was Spanberger,
right?
And just in Virginia. And, Jay Jones is really bad.
Bad.
The text messages where he told a fellow delegate in the House of Delegates that he wanted to basically kill the Republican Speaker of the House.
And have their children die in their arms and all of that.
And that was just part of it. He also got away with speeding, traffic violations going like 100 miles an hour in a 70 mile an hour.
Well, and in 2020, he said he wanted, he said more police officers need to die so the cops stop killing people. And this guy he's got a murder fetish.
He won. He didn't win narrowly. In the governor's race in Virginia, Spanberger won by 15 points.
15 points. And what's very important about that race, the Virginia race, Jason Miyares, the AG, got more votes than Winsome Sears. Okay? So that shows you how uninspiring Winsome Sears was. And I'm not saying she didn't have a great story. Jamaican immigrant. She served in the Marines. I thank her for her
She
service.
had a good story, but she's a
American
lousy
dream.
candidate.
Lousy candidate. And here's the other thing. Jersey, Jack Ciattarelli, same thing. He's not inspired. I know people in Jersey who were excited and enthusiastic about the prospect of flipping New Jersey red.
Yeah.
Not about voting for Jack. And that's what's different between guys like Ciattarelli, candidates like Winsome Sears, is they were excited about the idea of maybe we can flip the state, but they weren't excited about who was going to do it, right? So when people came out to vote for Donald Trump, they were excited about his vision, him, his personality. He's in his upper 70s, but energetic, charismatic, visionary, revolutionary. I look at Mamdani, can't stand his politics. I don't like his ideology, his theology, all of it. But there's no taking this away from Zoran Mamdani. He's young, he's energetic, he's charismatic, he's revolutionary.
And he's articulate.
Where is that? Jack Ciattarelli is the best you can do. Where is that candidate on the right? Where is the youth? J.D. Vance, that's one. Where is the Byron Donalds, right?
Brandon Gill.
There you go, right? There you go.
Hold it.
There, go for it.
You owe me a Coke.
Right? That's it, right? Yeah, right? So, where are these people running in these important races? Where is that on the Republican side? You don't have it. You are not, again, it's not 2002. It's not 2004. You're not going to win these races by playing not to lose, right?
You got to play to win.
You have to play to win. Herman Edwards.
You got to
play to win the game, right? And Winsome and Jack, they both played not to lose. They both were that. If you watch tennis, they were like, I don't want to commit the unforced error, but they never go on the attack. They were always waiting to respond. Jack's campaign said that there was an ad that ran in New Jersey that accused Jack, they called him High Tax Jack, basically saying he was going to raise the taxes. Completely untrue. They said they had a hard time overcoming that. Why? Where was your ad making those accusations about Cheryl? Where was your response? It wasn't there. There was no energy. There was no aggression. There was no drive. There was no passion. It was just, I'm going to skate and be a nice guy and appeal to the moderates. The Jersey was a 6-point race in 2024. 6 points. If the same amount of people that came out and voted for Trump voted for Jack, he wins by about 100,000 votes. Look, that's unrealistic to think that. You don't go from a 6-point race to a 13-point race and not say there's a problem with the candidate. You don't in Virginia go from a 5-point race to a 15. It's the margin tripled. Bad candidate. And this is the problem too. People go, well, we need MAGA candidates. Yeah, sure. But in order to get MAGA candidates, what must MAGA do? MAGA has to participate in primaries, which they don't do. The only primaries that MAGA participates in, again, are primaries where Donald Trump is on the ballot. MAGA was very excited last year through Super Tuesday and the primary cycle to go out and vote for Trump and stop the, DeSantis and all these other people that were in the primary. They were very motivated to do that. But when it comes to getting these other candidates, these gubernatorial candidates, these congressional candidates, these attorney general, when it comes to all that, they're nowhere to be found. That's a problem. And it's going to take a lot of, for lack of a better term, rewiring or reprogramming the way MAGA voters or Trump voters think. They are solely Trump or bust. Like, if Trump's not on the ballot, I don't care. But that hurts Trump. That hurts Trump if you do that. And it hurts the country if you do that. The more participation, think of it, Charlie Kirk, what was his life's work? It was getting people engaged in the process, civics, teaching them how to do this, how to run campaigns, how to campaign for somebody, how to get out the vote. And you have people who are very, rightfully upset, devastated over Charlie's assassination. But then, have you learned nothing from his life's work? So this is the issue. There's not enough participation, and it's because MAGA and the actual palpable people who led to Trump winning, they are just disengaged and not inspired by what the Republican Party is putting on these ballots. And unfortunately, the GOP doesn't show, they just don't think there's a problem. They're like, oh, we'll get out the vote next time. Get rid of all your high-priced consultants. Get rid of all of these think tanks because it's not working. It isn't working. You got to adapt. Again, it's not 2004. It's 2025. A lot of things change in 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. When we come back, Sean Farash, let's take that same analytic brilliance and let's apply it to the New York City's mayor's race.
Game on.
Game on. Back with Sean Farash after this.
Everyone, EJ Haast here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at GlockStore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at GlockStore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
This is Michael Patrick Leahy. Join Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, and Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs and me at T-Bones and Politics 2025 on the evening of November 10th in Murfreesboro for a night of great food, good fellowship, and inspiring political speeches. Get your tickets now. They're going fast at tbonesandpolitics2025.com. This is a great annual event. This year, musical entertainment will be provided by the Tremolo Honey Band. If you haven't heard them before, they are absolutely fantastic. This special event is sponsored by Barrett Firearms, Old South SRM, Moody Excavating, Azure Flight Management, and SEC Engineers. So go right now to tbonesandpolitics2025.com and get your tickets for T-Bones and Politics. It's an evening of great food and fun on November 10th. I'll see you there. Paid for by Joe Pack, William Ronsley, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
In studio, our very good friend, Sean Farash, native of Long Island, New York, now has left New York and is a resident of the state of Tennessee. I, of course, am a native of upstate New York. I came here about 30 years ago, a little over that, actually 34 years ago. You came here about 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, 3 years ago.
And you're happy to be a Tennessee resident.
Very much so.
But you have a very keen insight as to what's going on in New York City, which you know very well because you grew up in Long Island right next to it.
Yeah.
Before this election for mayor, your projection was that Zohran Mamdani would win by
8 points.
And as it turns out, we have the final results. And here they are. Zohran Mamdani, the mad Muslim Marxist from Manhattan, is the mayor-elect because yesterday he received 50.4% of the vote, a majority of the votes cast.
Yep.
Andrew Cuomo got 41.6% of the vote, 8.8%. So you were right there.
Right around it, yep.
Now, this was surprising. The Republican nominee with his red beret, Curtis Sliwa, got only 7.1% of the vote. Now, some polls had him as much as 20%, but that was a very, very disappointing performance for Curtis Sliwa. What are your thoughts on that?
I think if it was a two-horse race, Mamdani versus Sliwa probably finishes somewhere in the 30s or 40s.
Yeah.
Because he would be the only alternative to Mamdani.
Right.
I think a lot of the pollsters, they call and say, who are you voting for? Who are you most likely to vote for? Who are you this, that, and the other? And there are a lot of people who said Sliwa who wound up pulling the lever for Cuomo because they saw him in polling as the second highest vote getter and said, I'm not going to
waste my vote.
I'm going to try and coalesce here. And we're going to try and stop Mamdani and we'll figure the rest out later. And then there were 7% of people who were never going to vote for Cuomo again because of what Cuomo did in New York, which was
bad.
Which is a segment of people that I said existed. And if Sliwa wasn't in the race, those people just would have stayed home.
They wouldn't have voted.
Because those, and for anybody who didn't live in New York during 2020 and 2021 during COVID, but before that, because cashless bail and all of that nonsense and the high taxes and Cuomo, right? So people who didn't live there and experience that don't understand how bad it was. When we lived in Murray County last year, and Andy Ogles obviously was our congressman. He was the mayor of Murray County during COVID, and he took a totally the opposite of Cuomo approach. It was no rules. I asked him the first time I met him. I said, "Why did you do that?" And he said, "I looked at what I had the power to do, and I didn't have the power to impose those restrictions. And this is America, and we deserve to treat it like America." I said, "That's great. That's how more people should act." But when I told the stories of what we went through in New York with Cuomo, curfews, small businesses being shut down, bizarre rules when it came to, ordering food at a bar and alcohol at a bar, they looked at me like there's no way that could be true. You don't know what it was like unless you lived it. It's surreal to think of some of this stuff. So there are people in New York, specifically Italians on Staten Island. Italians on Staten Island tend to be, in the country, probably the group that's the best at holding grudges, okay? They and I love them, right? But They will never vote for Andrew Cuomo, and that's that 7% that you saw.
Yeah.
What I explained to people since June, Mamdani, after he won the primary, was you can run a pair of sweaty gym socks in New York City. If it runs as a Democrat, the sweaty gym socks will beat anybody else on the ballot if it runs as a Democrat. You could have Abraham Lincoln, right?
Well, he was a Republican.
I know that, but you could have anybody. You could put, insert name here, Barack Obama. If Barack Obama in New York City ran as an independent against a pair of sweaty gym socks that ran as a Democrat, the gym socks would win. And rightfully so, because Obama's just as bad as sweaty gym socks. But I'll tell you,
worse.
That's the problem in New York City. And I explained that, and they're like, no, that's not how it works. Yes, that's how it works. I've campaigned in New York City. I was involved in 2021's campaign. That's how it works in the city. And so Mamdani, with the majority, which is what I thought he was going to get, it wouldn't have made a difference whether Cuomo or Sliwa dropped out because Mamdani had 50+1, right? So he had the winning coalition by himself. There was no other winning coalition that could have. He had it. Mamdani got the lion's share of the vote. But that 7% of Curtis, so let's say he was getting 20% in the polls, 1/3 said, I am not voting for Cuomo. So there was no outcome where 100% of Sliwa's votes were going to go to Andrew Cuomo anyway, but it didn't matter because Mamdani wound up with a majority.
Now, there's a famous book written, more than 50 years ago, a long time ago.
Is it called The Art of the Deal?
Close enough.
Oh, okay.
Close enough. An historian by the name of McKinley Cantor wrote a book called If the South Had Won the Civil War. And, it was the beginning of the alternative history.
Right.
Let's just go back to the date on which Zoran Mamdani won the Democrat primary. What would have happened if, ready for some speculation? What if Curtis Sliwa withdrew at that time and said, I'm backing Cuomo? What if Hochul had backed Cuomo? What if Schumer had backed Cuomo? What would the outcome have been?
I think it would have been exactly the same.
You think so?
Yeah, because, again...
For all the reasons you just articulated.
And for what we articulated last segment, Mamdani was a great candidate. He has destructive, dangerous ideas. But from a quality of candidate perspective, he was inspiring, he's articulate, he's young, right? He's saying different things, he's energetic, he's charismatic. He's a good candidate.
Yes.
Okay? He is extremely, very good at selling himself and his vision. That's what politics is. It is sales. You're not selling a product. You're selling yourself and your vision. Mamdani excels doing that.
It's about the only thing he's going to excel at.
And then look at Cuomo.
What else matters?
Was Cuomo energetic? Was Cuomo charismatic? Was Cuomo attractive? No.
The word I would use to describe Andrew Cuomo's campaign.
Stale.
No, somnambulant.
That's a big word.
Which means
sleepy.
Sleepwalking.
Yes. Okay.
Walking in your sleep.
That's a huge word. Somnambulant. I like that. Good thing it's a constitution bee and not a spelling bee because I can't spell that word. But think of it. Even if, as you mentioned, all of those folks had coalesced behind Cuomo, the candidate, Andrew Cuomo, take his checkered past out of the equation. He wasn't resonating with the people that Democrats resonate with now. Again, just like I said about the Republicans, for the Democrats, it's not 2010. It's not 2008. They're a totally different party than even when Obama won, right? So, you have people called Obama a socialist, right, during his run in 2008, and he denied those. I'm not a socialist.
He is.
Mamdani yesterday said, I'm a democratic socialist. In his speech.
He said, I'm a Muslim, I'm a socialist, and I'm proud of it.
Hello.
And come at me.
That is a much different party on the left than we've seen. And that's why I said about the right and the Republicans, look, they're out there embracing socialism. I'm not saying we have to go out there and embrace, this whatever it is that Nick Fuentes and these people don't embrace that, but at least embrace some form of populism, some form of, I don't want to say nationalism, where it's isolationism, but patriotism. Maybe that's the word you want to. You have to change from, George W. Bush saying Muslims are the religion of peace, and letting a bunch of people in. You've imported the third world. Look what happened in New York City.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's it. That's.
I mean, the proof
Steve
is right
Bannon
there.
has made that argument very well. And by the way, we talk about those on the Republican side who are saying, watch out. Bannon is leading the way. I want to go back to some analysis here. New York City has 5 boroughs.
Yeah.
And everybody's familiar with Manhattan. Big skyscrapers where Wall Street is, et cetera. All the great restaurants, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's Manhattan. But there are 5 boroughs. Now, in addition to Manhattan, you have to the north, you have Bronx, right on the edge of it where Yankee Stadium is. A lot of, really poor parts of the Bronx. And then you've got Queens and Brooklyn and Staten Island. Now, let's go to Staten Island. Staten Island, I'm not even sure if it really is an island. I guess it is. It's separated from New Jersey, but not by much. You gotta take a ferry to get from Manhattan to Staten Island. Staten Island, very different animal than any of the other boroughs.
It's the red borough. It's also the smallest borough
by far. Cuomo won Staten Island with 55% of the vote. 55. Mondami got 22%. Sliwa got 21%. But he only got 82,000 votes there. Now go across the river to Brooklyn. Brooklyn is where Mondami did the best. He got 56% of the vote in Brooklyn, 374,000 votes. That's a lot. Cuomo only got 37% of the vote. Brooklyn is kind of where the hipsters live.
Williamsburg, that's hipsters.
It's the cool part of town. Queens, where Donald Trump grew up, and I think it's where Cuomo grew up too. Didn't he grow up in Queens?
I think so.
I think so, yeah, because his dad was from Queens, Mario Cuomo. But Mamdani barely won Queens, 42%. That's, of course, former home of the New York Jets, current home and Shea Stadium of the New York Mets. Then you go up to the
Islanders.
Bronx.
The New York Islanders are in Queens now.
Oh, okay.
UBS Arena.
Then you go up to Bronx, and Mamdani won that 40%. The Bronx is kind of a war zone of poverty and terrible stuff, right?
Yeah.
Except for where the Yankee Stadium is.
And except for where AOC grew up in Yorktown Heights.
Ah, good point.
I'm from the Bronx. No, you're not.
Yeah.
You're from Yorktown Heights. Okay.
In Manhattan, Mamdani won 43%. So it was pretty much a clean sweep with the exception of tiny Staten Island.
Yeah, well, and that makes sense. And that's the way it usually breaks out in New York City, is Staten Island votes one way, the rest of the city votes the other way. It's the smallest borough, so
Sean,
it generally isn't too much.
When we come back, News Potpourri. Back after this.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Solti
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
I flew 9 combat tours taking out terrorists.
Matt Van Epps, America First warrior.
When my Chinook took enemy fire, I kept her in the air, got our guys, and completed the mission.
Matt Van Epps, American hero.
Now I'm on a new mission to help Trump save America. I'm Matt Van Epps. I approve this message because I know what to do with terrorists. So these woke wannabes in Washington better take cover.
Matt Van Epps, the conservative warrior Trump needs.
Paid for by Matt Van Epps for Congress.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, the one, the only, the very best Trump impersonator in the world, Sean Farash. Sean, do you know what time it is?
I know what time it is.
It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, News Potpourri. This is the portion of the program. We talk about those stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and may have a touch of
irony.
Is it irony or humiliation? Chuck Schumer.
Humiliation. Easy choice.
Chuck Schumer was asked who he voted for yesterday. We have a clip from it right now.
Today is election day in New York City. Did you vote for Mondani or Cuomo?
Look, I voted, and I look forward to working with the next mayor to help New York City.
What a weasel. Does he realize he's lost his cojones? Does he? I mean,
if he had them
does
to
he
begin
look
with.
down and say they're gone, whatever they were?
He is suffering from the same syndrome that Justin Trudeau suffered from, right? Queen Justine. Yeah, I would say humiliation. Look, I voted. Well, we know. We want to know who you voted for.
Why?
Right?
Why
He's afraid of AOC.
Why would any Democrat right now in the Senate, why would they follow the lead of Chuck Schumer? I mean,
that's a good question. He doesn't hold the power in that party anymore.
Oh, no.
But he's their, majority leader. And that's interesting, right? Jeffries is the majority leader. Minority leader
yeah.
in the House.
You mean Peso Store
Obama. Right?
Yeah.
And Schumer is the minority leader in the, the party leader in the Senate. Both from New York, right?
And both, what's the polite way to say this? Neutered?
Yes, I would say. Jeffries is a tiny teepee, and I think
no
Chuck
teepee.
Chuck Schumer is no teepee.
No teepee Chuck.
Right, no teepee
and
Chuck and tiny teepee Hakeem. Yeah. So There you go.
Should we go on the road with this? Sean?
We could. We could take this act on the road. That'd be fun. It'd be fun.
Hey, look, the one important thing that's happening today that I forgot to mention is the following. There is a hearing going on right now as we speak in the Supreme Court on the legality of Donald Trump's tariffs.
Yes.
And the bad guys are being represented by Neil Katyal. This guy is a far leftist attorney who's had some level of success. I think he was Obama's Solicitor General, the guy who makes the argument.
Right.
This is really pretty good here. Markets are responding to this. They're jumping on the apparent skepticism from Supreme Court justices over tariffs. Now, this is going to be really bad. The president is saying he's got emergency power to do this. Now, if you look at what's going on in the world today, yeah, but they're going to argue that he doesn't have the constitutional authority to do a tariff without Congress, right? It would be very, very bad. The president has gone and said, look, this would be disastrous if the Supreme Court rules that his tariffs are not legal. But, according to the initial analysis here, maybe that's where they're going to go. I know.
I don't like that. But I guess we'll see. I mean, I don't love emergency powers, and I don't like presidents or really anybody abusing emergency powers. I don't think Trump is abusing the emergency powers.
See, I would agree with you because I think we do have an emergency.
Right.
And, the consequences of upending the tariffs would be refunds to various companies and countries.
Right.
It would be an utter disaster.
Yeah.
I
hope they don't overturn those tariffs because it's going to hurt a lot of American workers too. Their jobs are going to go right back overseas. What are we going to do? I don't know. I don't like it. Hopefully those tariffs will remain in place. I hope that those emergency. I don't like I don't like emergency powers, but
there's not a lot that either you or I can do about that.
No, we can't.
The arguments are being held today.
Right.
And they won't announce the result. I don't think they'll announce the results for a period of time. But still.
Usually they don't announce it, till the term ends, right?
This might fit in a different category.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly, but there's something when there's a ruling on something that is of significance.
Like it's pressing, it's urgent.
If there's an injunction, it's called a shadow docket.
Gotcha.
Now, usually that may or may not involve. Sometimes it doesn't involve oral arguments, but the point is that they might accelerate this answer. A lot of people think they're going to try to split the baby.
Kick it down to the lower courts on some.
No, they might do. What they might say would be something like, well, maybe it's not legal, and going forward, you can't do it, but you don't have to do any refunds. I mean, look, this is the John Roberts court, which has been 85% good.
Right.
In the past couple of years.
It has.
But it's been 15% bad
not
from my
good.
perspective.
Right.
And John Roberts is, he's the guy that crafted the ridiculous NFIB Obamacare decision where the Obamacare tax was a tax in one case and not a tax in the other.
Right.
I don't know how he did that.
I don't know either. That was a disaster.
But he's going to, and now look at Obamacare.
Oh.
It's
well, this is my favorite thing.
Yeah.
The Affordable Care Act, we keep hearing about why health care is not affordable. I thought I was supposed to fix it. We have to give it more money. Well, then it's not affordable if you're giving it more money.
And on that note,
yes,
Sean Farash, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Always fun.
It's always fun on Trump Day.
That's right.
Hour 3 of our program Wednesday. We'll see you next Wednesday. And I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. The website, TennesseeStar.com. Thank you so much for joining us.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door, that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent a career, my entire